Alright, so we've got our sleeve underneath. This is the one with the cuff, and we're putting our front on top of it there. Just make sure that you've got your single front notch to match your single front notch on the armhole. And we're sewing this together at 1 centimeter, so we're going to use our line on the 4. And so just do it. You've got, like these notches along the way, so just do it one section at a time. Just going from the raw edge here.
If you find it hard to control things with your hands, then put some pins in the notches.
Yeah.
Just put a pin in to get the notches together along the way before you start sewing.
Now we have to, when we've got up to the first notch here, nearly. And so now we have to go, our next notch is the shoulder notch. So that shoulder notch is there, 2 centimeters from the yoke line. And we've got our shoulder notch here. So you'll see that this is a little bit tight, this edge. So what I'm suggesting is that you can actually put some clips into that seam, and that's going to open things up a little bit and make it easier for you to sew the sleeve in at that point, because you don't have all of the tension on that seam there. So again, you can put pins in if you want to. I think it's the earlier you start trying not to use pins, the sooner you will learn not to use pins.
It's a bit quicker.
Yeah. I mean, if you need to, that's completely fine.
The alternative, of course, is to do a row of ease stitching on the head of the sleeve before you put it in. And we can show you how to do that if you're interested in learning.
And the same with here. So this is yoke, edge is a bit tight. You can just snip that a little bit. Okay, so I've got my back notches here now, so double back on the sleeve head and on the armhole. So just match those up. You can stick a pin in there if you want to, and you can see here there is a little bit of contraction that we need in the sleeve head, but there isn't actually any ease in the sleeve head. It's literally just that the where it goes onto the bias, it's a little bit stretchier, and it seems to be that there's actually ease there. Okay, so that's the sleeve in. Just have a look, make sure that you don't have any tucks or anything. It should fit quite neatly into the armhole, so that's looking alright. So now I'm going to go to the overlocker, and I'm going to overlock the sleeve head and the side seams just on this side. So we're going to overlock the armhole here. I've got the front facing up, there's our dart, our armhole. So this means, so we'll have the nice side of the overlocking on the body of the garment. Just make sure when you're going around here that this doesn't sort of move over and you chop a hole in your sleeve head or something. So you're only wanting to obviously overlock just the two seams together. Okay, so there's our our armhole overlocked. Now we're just going to overlock down the side seams here. So we've stitched this in place, our cuff, we've stitched that up, so that's good, we don't have to worry about that. When we, so we start right at the raw edge there, and we need the seam allowance here to be facing the sleeve. we're only sewing through the one layer. Just watch here too that you don't, that this is the back of your dart, that it doesn't stick out and you chop it off or something. So make sure that it's in line with the raw edge of the side seam. And then when we come down here, we've got this little bit that swings out. So we're just going to follow that line and then finish here, because this bit here is going to be double rolled. So we don't need this last bit here to be overlocked. So just pull this around and sweep off the side there. And you might get a few little bits of the stitching that go over the edge, but that's not the end of the world, so don't worry about that. You need to do the back. So make sure you've got the side that has the sleeve attached to it. And this time we've got a longer section at the back. That's where the split's going to finish. So we're going to start overlocking where it swings out away from the split. So go slowly when you start there. Don't want to chop into your side seam or anything. Our seam allowance is going towards the sleeve. That's the end there. And then give yourself a little bit of extra overlocking so that we can tuck that under in a minute.